Hey everyone, welcome back to another Phenomenal Tips video. I'm Alex Watson, your host today. So I have for you a practice real estate exam, okay? We're gonna be talking about Texas real estate law and finance. I have 21 practice questions ready for you. And if you stay with me to the end, I have a couple extra bonus questions that I'm gonna go over. So it actually will be more than 21 questions, but you gotta stick with me to the end to get some of these good questions. It's all free. We're gonna get you right so you can get ready to pass your real estate exam. So first off, we have, which of the following might the title company not manage or provide? Escrow account, title survey, prorations, title insurance, appraisal, or title report. Okay, and this is gonna be the format. Read the question, read the answers, and then give you a couple of seconds to think about what's the correct answer, and I'm gonna move on to the next question. So when you think about a title company, what are you thinking about? I would imagine, title insurance, protection, title survey, title report, all these words with title in it. I'm sure title company manages or provides. So you can eliminate those. Okay, so we have escrow account, prorations, and appraisal. So appraisal is not something title company would manage. It's going to come from a third party entity, an appraiser, basically. So which of the following would not be listed on the closing disclosure? Settlement fees, recording fees, title insurance, lender fees, home inspection costs, or tax certificates? So when you're thinking about closing disclosure, you should be thinking, okay, closing on real estate deals, you should be thinking loan estimate and closing disclosure. These are both documents that we provide our parties involved just so they can have an idea of how much money they're going to be spending, how much money they need to present. These are all estimates. So in closing disclosure, what type of fees might be associated with purchasing this house that'll be associated with the title company? Home inspection costs is not one of them. So why would a real estate agent lose their license to practice real estate in Texas? Maybe committing fraud or failing to provide documents requested from TREC regarding a complaint, not disclosing a material fact about a property, not disclosing agency relationships, offer to sell property without owner's consent, or all of the above. So yes, any one of these, if a real estate agent in Texas does any one of these acts, they are liable to lose their license. What information would you expect to see on the loan estimate form? Kickbacks, TREC promulgated inspection form, projected payments, the 1 to 4 family residential contract, standards of practice, or all of the above? So what information would you expect to see on the loan estimate form? Projected payments. Makes sense. What of the following is not involved in the mortgage loan approval process? Pre-approval, underwriting, loan processing, home inspection costs, approval, or loan application. So which step is not involved in the loan approval process? Well, the one that stands out, I would say, is home inspection costs. So which title policy offers protection up to the total loan amount until a loan is fully paid off? Lender policy, seller policy, buyer policy, property policy, premium policy, renter policy. So I'm sure it's popping out at you. The lender policy. So how many days after the contract effective date does the buyer or buyer's agent have to pay the option fee? 3 calendar days, 3 business days, 7 calendar days, 20 calendar days, 20 business days, 30 calendar days. And remember, the option fee is associated with paragraph 23. That's where termination option is in the TREC 1-4 family residential contract. And you know, the option fee is associated with that option period. And that's essentially where that buyer agrees to pay a sum of money so they have the option to back out of the contract for any reason. Okay, so remembering all of that, 3 calendar days, not 3 business days, 3 calendar days. So if you sign a contract on a Friday, you have Saturday, Sunday, Monday, you have to get that option fee to the buyer or buyer's agent by Monday, which is not a factor most lenders consider before approving buyer's loan. Credit history, debt to income ratio, expenses, work history, assets, or ethnicity. So what's not a factor most lenders would consider? And I'm sure you got it, ethnicity. So which parties are involved in mortgages that might be used in lien theory states? And this one is difficult. Trustee, borrower, lender, trustor, trustee, lender, lender, trustee, borrower, lender, mortgagee, trustor, or mortgagor and trustee. So I get to think about this one. So in lien theory states, the mortgages is the security. So with mortgages, you have the mortgagor and the mortgagee, and the mortgagor is also the borrower, and the mortgagee is also the lender. There you have it. Which lists all the major parties involved in the deed of trust. And this is a more commonly used in Texas. So the trustor, borrower, or lender, the borrower, trustee, beneficiary, lender, trustee, beneficiary, borrower, lender, mortgagee, trustor, or mortgagor, trustee. So in deed of trust, you know, we have the trustor, the trustee, and the beneficiary. But that's not an option here, so Trustor is also the borrower. Okay. So trustee is also the lender. And the beneficiary is the beneficiary. So there we have it. How soon must the lender provide the consumer with the loan estimate form? 1 day after the loan application is received, 2 days after it's received, 3 days after, 4, 5, or 10 days after the loan application is received. So here you should be thinking about, the TILA RESPA integrated disclosure again. So yeah, with the loan estimate form, that should be turned in 3 days after the loan application is received. Which incident is beyond the statute of limitations for TREC to investigate? Agent Banks commingled funds a week ago. Agent Bonds didn't disclose an agency relationship with the seller a month ago. Agent Aggie said a rotten roof was in perfect condition a year ago. Agent Snow didn't suggest title policy to buyer 2 years ago. Agent Ash listed property without the owner's consent 3 years ago. Agent Potter advertised a 20-year-old HVAC system as new 7 years ago. So Agent Potter advertised a 20-year-old HVAC system as new 7 years ago. So this is a good question, but I'm sure you could figure it out by process of elimination. It has to be this one. So let's look at this one. After the title company receives a copy of the TREC promulgated sales contract, when can a seller provide the buyer with the title commitment? 3 days after title company receives sales contract, 5 days afterwards, 7, 10, or 20 days after the title company receives sales contract, or all of the above. So as long as the seller supplies this to the buyer within 20 days, according to the TREC contract, paragraph 6B, so all of the above, 20 days, within 20 days. How soon must the closing disclosures be provided to the consumer? 12 hours before closing, 24 hours, 36, 48, 60, or 72 hours. Again, the closing disclosure is associated with the TILA RESPA integrated disclosure. So it's actually 3 days before closing. That's how soon, which is 72 hours. What are some things a buyer may have spent money on after their earnest money is returned because the seller rescinds the contract? So I talked a little bit about this earlier. So inspection fees, loan application fees, loan appraisal, survey, option fee, or all of the above. So what's something buyer may have already spent money on after getting their earnest money back? So yes, all of the above. What happens when a seller signs a deed? Ownership interest transferred from grantor to grantee. Ownership interest transferred from trustee to trustor. Ownership interest transferred from mortgagee to mortgagor. Ownership interest transferred from leasee to leaseor. Ownership interest transferred from optionee to optioner. D, all of the above. So it's only one correct answer. Ownership interest transferred from grantor to grantee. A seller's disclosure notice is required for a type of property. For what type of property? The seller's disclosure notice is required for what type of property? Single family residence, condominium, townhome, none of the above, option 1 and 3, all of the above. So the correct answer is single family residence. A principal can enter, and there I put the wrong answer. Single family residence is the right answer. A principal can enter into an agency relationship with a licensed real estate agent. True or false? So false. Only a broker can enter into an agency relationship with a principal. Which of these does not describe a moment when a party might discharge a contract? Partial performance, lease purchase agreement, operation of law, mutual agreement, substantial performance, or all of the above? So when is a contract discharged? When all the conditions have been met or the contract's been canceled. So what is not a moment when that's occurred? Lease purchase agreement. So in the operation of the law, that's when a court order is used to discharge a contract. Mutual agreement, all parties have agreed to discharge the contract. Substantial performance, most of the duties have been completed, but not everything. And impartial performance, similar, part of the duties in the contract were completed. What type of contract do both parties agree to perform a specific action notated in the contract? An executory contract, bilateral contract, unilateral contract, executed contract, none of the above, all of the above. So keyword both parties, so bilateral contract. I mean, executory contract is just incompleted. An executed contract has been completed. So the best answer is a bilateral, where both parties agree to perform an action. Which real estate contract form is promulgated by TREC? 1 to 4 family residential contract, farm and ranch contract, new home contract, incomplete construction, residential condominium contract, resale, or unimproved property contract. So this one is all of the above. And new home contract, completed construction is also another required one. So I had some extra questions for you all. So which of these is not considered a TREC's, part of the TREC's canons of professional ethics and conduct? Discriminatory practices, integrity, fidelity, honesty, competency, consumer information. So the TREC canons of professional ethics and conduct or all of those except for honesty. It's discriminatory practices, fidelity, integrity, competency, and consumer information. Which type of joint ownership does not have right of survivorship? Joint tenancy or tenancy in common? So tenancy in common does not have right of survivorship. Joint tenancy does. Which type of loan is a guaranteed loan? A FHA loan or a VA loan? That should be an easy one, VA loan. In township, how many square miles are in each section in a township? There are 36 square miles. And how many feet are in a mile? 5,280 feet. And how many square feet are in an acre? 43,560 square feet. And what does the principle of conformity mean as it relates to the principle of value? Principle of conformity. Principle of conformity says that the max value that a property can have is when the land use is in harmony with the surrounding properties, the surrounding standards established by the surrounding properties. So yeah, thanks for joining us today at Phenomenal Tips. I'm sure you learned a lot. Hopefully you got most of those questions right and you're ready to pass this upcoming real estate exam that you're studying for. You have what it takes. Just keep on studying and you will be successful in no time. Thanks for stopping by. Take care. Good night.